So hey guys, I'm your host Adi and welcome to Comic Space where we talk everything Marvel and MCU. And today we are going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. Actually, we are going to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home a lot today. The official Spider-Man No Way Home screenplay is out now and there are a lot of subtext, gesture and a lot of details are present in it. Even a Stanley cameo. We are going to break down all of that. But before we start the video, if you haven't subscribed to Comic Space, make sure to grab the subscribe button if you don't want to miss any other Marvel or MCU update. So let's start today's video. In the movie, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man were named as Peter 2 and Peter 3, but in the script they are written as Raimi was Peter and Webb was Peter, crediting the directors Sam Raimi and Mark Webb for their contribution. Now we are going to talk about the Doctor Strange box, the box of cadavers. If you translate in this Portuguese, it says Crystal of Cadavers, and this name is from Comics Marvel Team Up issue 21 in 1974, where Spider-Man and Doctor Strange teamed up to fight a sorcerer named Zandu who uses Crystal of Cadavers to resurrect his wife. On to the final moments of the film, Peter looks at MJ talking to a Stanley look-alike. Well, it's Edward Frost, the actor, to play Stanley look-alike role. Maybe we should see him as a Stanley variant, or maybe the Spider-Man No Way Home team added to just as a rememberation of Stanley and for his contribution to the Marvel. Now, after all that, I'm going to talk about a very important point and one thing that does give us all a little light of hope, that we can see Peter and MJ together one more time. In the end, when Peter is in the donut shop and he recalls that line when MJ says that I'm excited, which is weird because I don't really get excited about things. I kind of expect disappointment, and then Peter continues and says, cause then you never actually be disappointment, right? And as we can see on MJ's face, also that a flicker of deja vu on her face, then recovery. So she feels like that she is already had been in this moment. It feels like it has happened before. And in the final moments of the donut shop where Peter is about to hand the notebook that he has bring it for her, and as the Peter sees that she has been hurt and he asks her that she is okay, which MJ reply, it doesn't really hurt anymore. Is there anything else? Peter paused the moment of truth, but he just shake his head and smiles. Peter continue and say, no. Peter took his notebook into his pocket. Peter continue, no problem. Peter take his coffee, looks over Ned and then back at MJ. And Peter continues and say, I see you around. And after this is very important line, that is, in MJ feels a lingering sense of recognition as the Peter is walking out of the door. And I know that people are talking about the Gwen could be the next love interest for Peter, and probably we will see Spider-Gwen in the MCU. But as this script suggests, Peter will get his happy ending, maybe in Spider-Man 4 or 5, as we are going to get the next Spider-Man trilogy with Tom Holland Spider-Man. And just like the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, Miles Morales and Gwen Stacy could get along in the next trilogy. And Spider-Man No Way Home has opened a big gateway to see more Spider people together. Maybe we don't see Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, but I hope we do see them. But we can see Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen together. Maybe not the taking down Sinister 5, but real Sinister 6. And in the Homecoming, Prowler did mention his nephew, and that is no other than the Miles Morales, so that technically means that Miles Morales do exist in the MCU. And as we know that MCU is not might just continue with the our classic Spider-Man storyline, just like we have seen they didn't continue with Mary Jane, they changed it to Michelle Jonas. We didn't see Harry, but we did see Ned, and just like that we could see Gwen, but just not like Gwen Stacy, but the MCU version of Gwen Stacy. And continuing the script, and at the very last part of the script says exit Rockefeller Plaza, continuous night soars over the Rockefeller's Christmas tree with a newfound sense of freedom, liberated from having to juggle two lives. Peter Parker is no more, but Spider-Man lives on. Fade out. So this line is about to think for a second, and that it just hits you that there is no one like Peter Parker in the world, and all the thing that he and Aunt May, Happy, Ned, and MJ went through, it never really happened for them. And now he is alone in an apartment with his shiny red and blue Spider-Man suit. This line is just like there is no Peter Parker, if there is anyone, but that is Spider-Man. And after the juggling between the two lives of Peter Parker and Spider-Man, now there is just Spider-Man. And if you think for a moment, that line really hits you and makes you sad a little bit. But as we know that we have seen that study manual in Peter's room, so he's probably going to apply for a college, and he's probably going for a college, and that is the chance where he can redeem as his identity of Peter Parker. And after all that, we just gotta wait for that next Spider-Man movie and for that next Spider-Man trilogy. Well, that's it for today's guys, but don't forget to grab that subscribe button for any of the latest MCU or Marvel update. Thanks to listening to me guys. It's your host Adi signing off. Stay safe, stay amazing.